Crikey, it's a plumber in his natural habitat.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So Dad came this past week and we have been getting so much done. This week we're going to show you how we installed our butcher block. We installed it in the kitchen for the countertops as well as the desk in the office. We'll show you how we cut it, sand it, seal it, and install it. So let's get to it.
Roll the intro.
Welcome to the Tale of Two Smitties. We're Cody and Laura, and if you're new here, let's catch you up. Before winter, we bought a school bus, a big, yellow school bus. Cody flew out to Phoenix with Laura's dad, Grant, to make the drive back to downtown Dallas. Since then, we've been plugging away on our Skoolie bus conversion, turning a bus into a tiny home on wheels. We've had help from both of our dads, Cody's dad, Wayne, and Laura's dad, Grant. So, if you'd like to follow along on our journey towards bus life, click subscribe and sit back, relax, and enjoy the Tale of Two Smitties. Alright, we're back at Home Depot to pick up our butcher block, and so we're going to get that installed. Let's go get it. What's up guys, we're getting started with the butcher block today. We just picked it up from Home Depot. Now we're back at the bus. We unwrapped it and we're getting ready to make some cuts. So we've got our little setup here. We've got the sawhorses out. Dad's getting ready to cut the desk piece of the butcher block. And then I'm gonna sand and then Laura's gonna stain. All right, so we just finished cutting the desk piece of the butcher block. We're keeping the full 6 feet. It's gonna be a 6 feet wide desk. And then we did 18 inches deep. So Dad just made that cut. And now I'm gonna sand it. I'm gonna hit it with a 220 first and then a 320 grit, which is an ultra fine. And we'll go from there. The cut side, we're gonna keep on the back. So you're not gonna see it because we're gonna have a backsplash. But if you cut the front side of the countertop for any reason, you can use a sander. If you don't have a router to cut an eased edge, you can take the sander and sand down this and kind of create an eased edge. We're not gonna need to do that on this because it's gonna be on the back side. But anyway, next is stain for Laura.
Hey guys, just finished the first coat of the Watco Butcher Block Oil. We saw a couple videos that were really helpful with just different tips. One of them being to apply it with a shopping, like a grocery bag, because the grocery bag won't soak up the way a cloth would. So it's helpful to be frugal with the oil. So we covered the top and the edges, and next will be the bottom side, which is actually the top. You'll see.
All right, so okay, I feel like you're making fun. You're not making fun.
No, it's good. It looks so good.
Okay, so I don't even want to turn around. All right, so
He's being normal.
All right, so we just finished I sanded it, and now we're dry fitting it so we can take measurements for the new pieces. What are you doing? I actually had it together that time. Finished cutting out the first piece of the countertop in the kitchen. Dad cut it, I sanded it, and now we're in here dry fitting it.
No, you better
It
do
fits
that over
right.
again. Do that over again.
Why?
Trust me, do that over again.
Okay. All right, so we finished the first piece for the kitchen cabinet, and Dad cut it, and then I sanded it, and now we're dry fitting it in by the stove. So we were measuring for the second piece, but we figured, well, let's dry fit it in first, obviously next to the stove, so that all the measurements are right. So we also shimmed the stove, and that's it. So we'll take some measurements here and get the second piece cut. And Laura's staining the desk.
So the process with the butcher block has been sort of similar to shiplap. We had to cut it down to the size, then sand it. Actually, we sanded it a couple times with 2 different grits. And then after sanding, I wiped it down with kind of a damp paper towel, followed by wiping it down with tack cloth, which is just like it sounds, it's really tacky cloth to pick up, almost like a magnet, picks up particles, dust particles, whatever's left over. And then after that, it's all clean. Now we've added on this butcher block oil, and we're just kind of covering it liberally and making sure it's soaking in. And then we'll let this dry. It has to dry at least 6 hours before we can do a full second coat. So that's that. Hey guys, wrapping up for the day. So we've done our butcher block first steps, and we're gonna leave them out to dry for the night, and we will catch you tomorrow.
What's happening, guys? We're headed back to the bus. I had to run back inside because my hockey gear was out drying out on the balcony last night, and it's supposed to rain. So, okay, we're gonna continue some butcher block. We got to do the second coat of stain. We're gonna cut the hole for the sink, and then we're gonna install it. We'll have to run to Lowe's for some brackets and things, but we're gonna get stain in first because it takes a little while to dry. So, excuse me, are you the bus guy? All right, so step one is going to be to measure for the sink. Dad's under there now. We bought a pretty big sink that's really limiting how much space we have on either side from the sink to the cabinet. Apparently that's a plumber's dream. They love that. So anyway, he's under there measuring for the sink, and then we'll do the second coat of butcher block oil. Okay, we're ready to cut the opening for the sink. We drilled a hole in the 4 corners. We've got everything taped and lined up and ready to go. I'm gonna be cutting it with a jigsaw today. We just put a new blade in there, and let's get to it. All right, so we're getting ready to make our last cut, and sometimes when you're cutting something out like this, the last piece, if this is really heavy, it could be starting to sink, and it could bow or grab or pinch the blade. So we've got this 2x4 across, holding it up to the rest of the butcher block. It's screwed in through the piece we're cutting out. So that's just gonna hold it and keep it from falling and pinching the blade. So time to do the last cut. All right, so we're done at the bus for the day. It's actually starting to sprinkle a little bit. It was supposed to rain a lot earlier, so we got away with one. But I want to show you what we did with the countertops. So let's go inside and take a look. So I think we explained this yesterday, but the process was to cut, sand, seal it once. We scuffed it lightly with the 320, and then we did another coat. And now they're just drying, and they're looking pretty good. There was a moment where they looked like little different colors, and that'll happen with 2 slabs, but they actually look pretty nice. So we're pretty excited. We'll get them installed tomorrow. All right, so this should be the last day doing butcher block today. We're gonna install the countertop, then we'll mount the sink underneath. We're doing an undermount sink if we didn't mention that yet. Then we'll hook up the stove, connect the gas and the electric for the igniter, and then we'll put in the faucet and connect the drain line. So let's get to it. So we'll probably have to show you a little better once it's installed, but we're gonna be installing some brackets here to support the butcher block, and we're going to use some bolts. We didn't want to screw into the cabinets, they're like MDF or whatever, so we're going to use some nuts and bolts to hold that through, and then we'll screw it up into the butcher block. So we'll show you that when it's done.
Off the top anyway.
Yeah.
Because
Beauty. All right, so we've got the stove fitted into the cabinet. The counters are in and everything fits well. Now we're gonna connect the gas. So we're gonna be putting, you'll remember from a couple of our other connections in a past video, for the gas connection, we're gonna put a little pipe dope on there and make that connection.